This is a Oney original podcast.
Do she have the booty?
Do she have the booty? She do. 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 As in money. Hello and welcome to another episode of She Do, where we talk about women who are making money, making it rain, raking in the chips, banana chips, poker chips, getting all those Benjis and Abraham Lincolns, and is Alexander Hamilton is on money too, right? I don't know. He's on the 20, isn't he?
Yes.
No, he's not. That's Jackson. He's racist.
Oh.
He's a bad guy. We don't want him.
No.
Anyway, so money's good. We like business. Ladies who slay in the biz, by women, for women, about women.
We
all
were
that.
just talking about Beyonce.
We were just talking about Beyonce. Okay, poll for everyone out there before we get into introductions. If there's this like some sort of like social media you're looking at right now on this, comment, would Beyonce put pineapple on her pizza? Wherever
Yeah,
you're looking at this,
I
on
like it.
YouTube or like, I don't know, Spotify
like,
or
what
any
kind
of
of
those.
pizza does Beyonce
What kind of pizza
eat?
does Beyonce eat? That's what
Would
we
she
want to
put
know.
Pineapple or would she eat pizza at all? No.
Would
Would
she-
she put pineapple on her pizza?
Yeah. And if Beyonce's watching this or listening to this, hey girl, love you so much. I really want to know what kind of pizza you want.
Let us know.
Let us know. It's on us. If you come on our podcast, we'll buy you pizza, Beyonce.
Pizza party in Ferndale.
There we go. Yep. I'll have a Ferndale and pizza. Great. Fantastic. Anyway, so today we have the magical Stephanie Rekowski with us today. Hello, Stephanie.
Hello, ladies.
Oh my gosh. Let me introduce myself too, because I totally did not do that. But I'm Natalie.
And I'm Bria Renee.
Actually, she's Beyonce.
Beyonce.
She ordered. Here's another one. She ordered pizza as Beyonce today. That's why we're just talking about this, because she went on the phone and just said like, "Hi, this is Beyonce. I want to get a pizza." And she showed up and the guy on the phone was like, "Damn, like this is a prank call." And she actually showed up and got the pizza as Beyonce. So like,
Pick up for Beyonce.
I was like, pick up for Beyonce. He was like, oh, Beyonce's here.
she's Beyonce. That's like the
Beyonce.
discount version. She's the great value version of Beyonce today.
Yeah, today.
So good.
I love it.
Today only.
Anyway, the delightful Stephanie.
Shoot, delightful and magical.
Delightful,
Oh my gosh.
magical, a treat to the universe, a gem.
I
a
love that.
gemstone.
Thank you. It's super cool. Like I'm so, like I was saying earlier, honored and humbled to be here.
We're so happy to have you. So Stephanie, we originally, here's our origin story here.
Yes.
Flashback to when was this?
It's actually it's a good like segue into it because we
Yeah.
met at the Kulik Community Center.
Yeah, we met at the Kulik Community Center here in Ferndale, and
Yeah.
a fitness class of all places. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what was this, a year ago?
I think it was actually like last November,
Oh my
or
God.
maybe like
Happy friendiversary.
right. It is friendiversary
Wow.
because that was kind of
Crazy.
like when I started like really getting into a more healthier fitness lifestyle, and that's and we were friends on Facebook or whatever, and I
Yeah.
always saw you posting like cool stuff and interesting, intriguing things too, and then you have a podcast that I could join you with.
Oh, I'm so excited. I thought of you right away. I was like, oh my God,
That's so
Stephanie has the coolest gig on this side of the universe. What do you do? Tell us. Tell the people out there in podcast.
I do have cool gigs. I mean, I wear a lot of hats. But my day job, my 9-to-5er, if you will, I'm the web production manager for the Detroit Red Wings, and also 313 presents and Olympia Entertainment. So there's kind of like a lot of tied with that. We have several company websites that I manage, including RedWingsSeasonTickets.com, HockeyTownCafe.com, 313 Presents, Detroit Red Wings, Olympia Entertainment. So we have a small team, but I'm working on building that team and marketing the best in sports and entertainment.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm amazed by that. So I think the first question that honestly pops into my brain, women and sports.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So how has that been for you? This, working in sports and kind of, it seems like, sports equals like man's
Right.
world. And how are you, a woman doing these things and kind of that branding that kind of is generally geared towards men?
Yeah.
How does that work?
It's definitely an interesting dynamic because I mean, most of the time you think like there's, when it comes to professional sports, there's not really many women professionally that are playing these sports that are so marketed, like professional, like NFL, NHL, NBA, all of that. But, you know, for me, it kind of just came natural because I was born and raised an athlete. So I was always playing ball.
Okay.
You know, I played softball and I played soccer and I played basketball and I played hockey.
Well, you did it
know?
all.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
and I grew up way up north, like in northern Michigan in Harrisville, which is about like 30 miles north or south of Alpena.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Way up there.
way up there, you know,
Yeah.
about 4 miles west of Lake Huron,
Oh.
around 4 farms. So we were always outside and we were playing sports. You know, that's how my parents raised us, to be outside and to be, you know, athletic and doing something active and exercising. And so it just came natural to me to just like want to be involved in sports anyways. To be honest with you, I never thought that my like dream job would be working for the Red Wings, even though hockey has always been such a huge part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like my brother played hockey, my dad played hockey. I grew up in a hockey rink, and but it is, you know, it never was even a thought that crossed my mind about like what is it like to be a woman? Like it's just
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
it's just me. But it is a very good point to talk about because that, especially like, you know, in modern times, like of the state of everything right now.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, but I mean, being one of my first loyal clients as a freelancer before I got my job with the Wings was a hockey trainer that kind of like fell in my lap on a random somebody asking me to help them, and it turned into being one of my most loyal clients as a freelance web
Wow.
designer and photographer, and then, you know, building that portfolio and then throwing my resume into a barrel full of monkeys.
Oh my
like
gosh, wow.
I could work for the Red Wings. Cool.
Who knew? Like, who knew that was a thing that they needed?
Right. I
Yeah.
didn't even know. It was just, it got to a point where, you know, I was hustling really hard,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
right out of college.
Gotta get that hustle.
Yeah. I went to a design school, and I
Where did
just
you
wanted
go?
to be creative. The International Academy of Design and Technology.
Okay.
There was a location in Detroit that's no longer there anymore, but it's an international school. So there's one in Florida, there's one in Orlando, Florida, there's one in California. So I wanted to originally go to school, like, as, you know, growing up as an athlete, and I got a scholarship and to go to college. I'm like, well, what am I gonna say? I'm an athlete. Like, what am I gonna go to school for? And my sister was a nurse, so I started taking nursing courses on my softball scholarship in Alpena Community College, and it just took those classes and saw the cadaver, and I was like, yeah, nope.
Oh my gosh, we had it was like episode 2. We had a morgue photographer on our show.
That's interesting.
And that's all she does all day long is look at dead people and like maggots and like little organs, and like, oh honey.
That takes a specific type of person, I will tell you that.
And that's not you.
It was not me. Like, I mean, you know, being like the captain of my team and everything, like growing up and wanting to help and lead people and like going to like being a nurse and helping people, I'm like, yeah, I could do this. But not when, couldn't do that. But, you know, just completely 360. Well, not complete 360, but then I started taking courses to be an elementary education teacher.
Oh, okay.
And I really liked that, but then it just turned into, like, you know, at a point in my life, I was like, I don't think I'm ready to live this lifestyle. Like, I went to Saginaw Valley for 2 years after community college and took a big giant risk and moved out to California for a couple months with my sister.
How was that?
How'd that go down for you?
Well, it was interesting, to say the least, being a small town girl, you know. My sister was a traveling nurse, and one of her contract jobs was out in California. And at that point, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, maybe I'll just go move to California and be a nanny or something. But I got out there, and I had all this time on my hands, and, you know, she worked the night shift. So I was, like, awake all day. I'm like, what am I going to do with myself? I'm in Hollywood, Like, what am I gonna do? I guess I'll go to the mall. Like,
Yeah, what does one do in Hollywood all day long?
right, when you're like 23, like 22 years old, like super, I'm young and I've never been to California before, but it was just crazy. Like, I couldn't even I got the schedule for the bus, couldn't even get on the bus to go to the mall because I'm just like, oh my God, what is like,
What's happening?
Who are these
Hollywood is
people?
another planet, I swear.
Absolutely. I
Oh,
mean,
God.
I went there one time since for a web conference, but in San Francisco, and that was cool. But I'm a lot bit older since then. But when I was out there when I was switching careers, I didn't really have a clue what I was gonna do, and I just did a lot of soul searching, and I knew I was always like a creative. And I found a film school out there. Then I was like, well, maybe I can go to film school out here. And then I realized I don't have my car out here. I can't even use the bus to go to the mall. This isn't gonna work.
How the hell am I gonna get to film school every day, like in LA? Whoa.
Right, and that's when I just stuck to my roots and went back to Detroit and found the International Academy of Design and Technology and started studying web design.
That's awesome.
And
Detroit is cool.
dude, Detroit is such the best place to be, especially right now.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
Like, it just makes me so happy to know that, like, I took that risk to go out to California to maybe try something different, but then I'm like, no, I'm going back to Detroit. And then when you're into it, especially as an artist
Oh yeah.
in Detroit, like 5 years ago, I mean, right before the bankruptcy and all of that happened, and, like, everybody just talks so much crap all the time about Detroit. And it's like, especially in the artist community, it's like, no, like, Detroit is great. And it's the artists that have basically created a new culture and everything that's happening in the D.
Right.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. And you're like in the crux of it all. You're in like you're downtown
You're
every
an
day.
LCA.
Yeah.
You are like
In
OG.
the new LCA.
Indeed. It's like, because so many people, like, everyone, Metro Detroit, we're not in Detroit right now. We're in Ferndale, we're like, I'm from Detroit, but, a lot of, it's so funny. All the, like, actual Detroit people get real mad when you're like, I'm from Detroit. And you're like, no, you ain't. You're from,
Yeah.
like, especially the people that are all like, I'm from Detroit. It's like, no,
You're
your ass
really
is from
nice.
Macomb. Get out of here, Kid Rock.
So
Ain't
y'all
nobody
gonna talk
wants
about
you.
me in front of my face right now?
Oh.
No, I'm just playing.
I know.
just kidding.
I know you probably doing that. You think that all the time, don't you?
No, this is the only time I think that is when I watch the news. So, and I will tell you why. So, say for example, if something bad happens in a suburb, they will still call it Detroit.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's the only reason
do
I'll just
it.
be like, no, that was not Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Or if like someone goes into another city, especially like someone that I know, and they're like, yeah, I'm from Detroit. I'm like, why are you lying to these people? You are from Southfield. Like,
Right.
like that's the only time. But any other time, like if you don't really know the Metro Detroit area, like, and you tell someone like, oh, I'm from Ferndale, they're like, okay, what is that? And you have to explain like this is a few
Metro
miles down
Detroit.
from Detroit, and it's too much. So I get why people say Detroit.
Well, if you think about it, I think it's probably because people are proud in some other proud or whatever the meaning may, or whatever the reason may be, but they want to say that they're from Detroit.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I'm from Detroit, even though I'm like
Even
an
though I'm
hour
not.
away.
Right.
But I don't know. I just think, and even now, like, that Detroit is such a different place than it was back in the 80s and the 90s. Or shoot, even just 10 years ago. It's completely different.
Yeah.
Like, people are, that's why I love Detroit so much, is because people are so loyal to the city of Detroit.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
My mom, I remember when we were going through the like recession and all of that stuff, and I remember asking my mom like, why don't you want to move? And she was like, girl, this city is gonna come back, and I'm
Sticking
staying
to it.
right.
I'm
She was
here,
like,
I'm
I'm staying right here. And I remember like once I started seeing like all of the developments downtown and seeing that it's spreading like outside of just downtown, she was like, I told you. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay.
There's a lot of cool shit going on.
Yeah, it's a
all good,
lot. It's
yeah.
a lot of cool things going on in Detroit, and I'm happy to see how it evolved. Because even with driving down Woodward, I remember because I used to I graduated from Cass Tech, so being in high school, I remember because Cass Tech is literally right
behind Little Caesars
right
right now.
behind
Yeah.
LCA.
Oh yeah.
And I just remember that used to be a field. It was a field right there. It was nothing right there. And it was like, little like abandoned like stores and like apartment buildings and like old hotels, like things like that. So to like drive downtown, I used to drive to, go to school every day and just see what it looks like. And like now seeing it, it's just like, wow, like it's amazing.
Different.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm happy to see that. Like, I feel like this city deserves, like, it's so, as big as this city is, I feel like we needed this a long time ago, and we had it way before, but it got destroyed. So I'm just glad that it's coming back.
Oh yeah,
that makes me happy.
Yeah, and it makes me happy too to know. I mean, like I said, I grew up way up north, and I've only been down here since like 2008. But there were so many naysayers that were always like, "Oh, Detroit, like, what are you staying in Detroit for?" And I'm like, dude, I'm not going anywhere. Right. Detroit's coming back. Like it's gonna, and I didn't even like know how to compare it to anything because I hadn't lived here. Yeah. But just from like what you see and what you hear, and I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. Like Detroit's gonna be a beautiful place again, and I'm all about supporting it and always trying to like promote the beauty of Detroit.
We have a special identity. I think that no one else can really boast. Yeah, I mean, I think compared to, I mean, everyone is always trying to quote escape and go to LA and go to New York and all those places, and it's just it's coming up right here. There's so many opportunities that even if you're not being like found by somebody, you can create those things yourself.
That's what I think one of the most beautiful things about the city of Detroit is that you can become whoever you want to be. And there are so many people that are in the same position, and so many people that you can relate to that want to work with you. Like, let's do something. Like, let's work on this. And there's so much more out there that people just don't see. Like, you just got to like find the right people to connect with and want to do stuff.
Yeah, I feel like Detroit had our history is pretty much for a long time we've had a bad rap, like because I know like when I listen to like a lot of like when I read like economics books and things like that, they say that Detroit should be further along than what it is, and
it's getting there. It's got its own time.
It's getting there, and it's coming now. But one thing I do like about Detroit, because I remember having a conversation with, I can't remember who it was, but I had a conversation with someone, and I'm like, oh, well, once I graduate, I am busting up, I'm leaving. And they're like, well, for what you do, like, I know for media, the go-to places are LA, New York, and Atlanta.
Yeah, it's
LA is dead, man.
Like
those
oh, I guess so.
Like
Sorry.
Those are
New York is dead, man.
No, those are like those three. Oh, I just thought about it. Like, dang.
I'm so sorry.
What? Did I just go to like? Man, they got fires over in LA. Man, they had like 9/11 in New York. It's like Detroit. It's been a while since we fell apart, so I mean, we're back.
Detroit, the thing is about it is that in Detroit, it is a big pond, but it's not as big as New York and LA and Atlanta to where you could get lost in the sauce.
It feels like you can't be lost here.
Yeah, you
it's
can't.
Cool. You know where you're
because
going.
You can't because it's like especially for media, there are not many outside of the news. There aren't many media markets here, so you really have no choice but to kind of create your own.
Everybody
I think it's changing though. It
is changing, but like once you kind of create your own thing, because it isn't so many media companies here, you're gonna get the right. Not attention, but people are going to notice you because it's not that many people doing the same thing as you.
Yeah.
So. What do you think about changing media? Because obviously, we're as a kind of society, we're all like nothing's on television anymore. Nothing. Even it seems like even the web is kind of starting to like go away. It's all like apps and like certain stuff like that now. Like what do you think about that?
What I think about it is that I don't pay attention to it because that's what I think, because there's just too much out there and you don't know how to distinguish. And,
right.
I think more my style is to connect with people face to face and talk about topics that are going on. Like, oh, did you hear about this? Or did you see that? Or like be an activist and go to these types of things. Like, I'm not going to lie. I still see the stuff on the feeds or turn on the TV and watch local news.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just too much, and it's just like always negative, and I don't like to focus on any type of negative stuff.
Right.
It's important though.
Yeah.
It's important to be aware and know what's going on.
Right.
Like that's first and foremost. But if you surround yourself with the right type of people that like educate themselves and like no. But then again, it's like, well, how do you educate yourself? Like, there's so much stuff out there.
Yeah.
I really think it just comes down to connecting with people, not on your handheld devices. You know, you just go and getting coffee with somebody and talking about stuff. Like, I think that's the best way to do it. I mean, it's not everybody feels the same, or not everybody thinks that's the right way to do it. Or I just think people just need to try different.
Yeah, we were really talking about, like, you know, we were all having our little, like, you know, chatsies before, you know, between sessions. I mean, we love to, we do, like, being transparent. We love to, like, we do our podcast in bulk. You know, sorry,
Yeah,
the vision is over, or what is on the vision, the illusion. That's what I was
illusion.
looking for. The illusion is over. We do them. We'll do a lot at once. So between, we had one, you know, right before this. You know, we were all sort of just chatting before, and, you know, we talk about, you know, I'll follow, you know, social media and stuff. It's like, but everyone has, like, I think especially like our age group has like this. We really like to curate our follows and friend lists and stuff like that. You know, it's.
I hope so. I mean, that's my mentality of it. You got to cater your feed to what what needs to inspire you for that day.
You
Absolutely,
have to.
yeah.
And I think a lot of people can't really understand how important that is. Like, if you're thumbing through your feed all day and it's just it just has to be something that's going to inspire you to want to do better, or help somebody. That's the way I like to look at things, you know. And
yeah, I think it's definitely about, like, you know, also, like, not inspiring in, like, a jealousy sort of kind of way, but, like, in a positive way. Because I think, you know, when we first started doing our workout class and all that stuff together, I started following all these fitness blogs and, like, Instagrammers who are all about fitness and bodybuilding and stuff. I had to, like, unfollow. I followed, like, 30 people, and I had to unfollow all of them because I could not stand looking at someone's good booty that was obviously photoshopped to hell.
Right.
And, like, all these people that live in, like, Miami, and they live in, like, super sunny states where it's, like, beach day every day, and they're all walking around in bikinis all the time talking about how much they love their life. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't want to look at you anymore, man.
You
like,
know,
get out of here.
That's a very great segue, if you will. Like, not only about talking about how I work for the Red Wings and managing sports and entertainment show side stuff, but I also do my freelance stuff. And with Marius Padot, who the classes I take now at the Colet Community Center, we were literally just talking about this the other day. MKP Fitness is his personal training business, and his Zumba classes that he does. And he's fantastic. And I've always been an athlete, and I always wanted to get into fitness. And it wasn't until I went to, you know, Colic and met you. But that's the thing, is, like, I always have been athletic and I always want to take classes, but it's like, I don't know if I can go take these classes because I'm a big girl. I'm like, I don't want to go and have to see all these other skinny, tiny, mini, fit girls that or the instructors that, like, I'm so not intimidated by, but, like, that's not, like you were saying, following these people on the Instas, like, that is not a realistic body image.
Yeah, it's not. It's especially with people that work out, they have, like, a schedule for that. Like, throughout the day, not
that's
just
like their job.
That's their whole
job. That's what they do. So it's like, you know, if you're looking, like, we had a podcast with Dr. Jaren Weeks Canoe, I'm sorry.
Okay.
But she was talking about, like, comparative living. So, like, you see someone, especially, like, if you know that you have fitness goals and you see someone that's photoshopped and muscular and all these
unrealistic,
and meal preps that you like, that shit looks disgusting, and I like to enjoy my food. So you look at those things, you kind of gotta just be like, nah, like, I know I'm trying to stay fit, but that's not my goal. I'm not trying to be like that.
But that's, like, what I loved about finding Marius's classes, because going to his classes have, like, just totally changed the spectrum. Like, he's such an incredible, he's very knowledgeable, and he's a very talented personal trainer, and also a Zumba cardio fitness trainer. But he makes you feel comfortable, and the classes are, like, average women and some guys too that come, that are there, that just want to get into a habit and into a routine. And he's inspired me so much, and has completely changed my whole life since, like, last year. And he's just yesterday I had a meeting with him because I'm going to be starting a marketing campaign for him. And building his website, and we just started putting the back end of the website together for him, and now we're working on content, and I've done some like promo photos for him and some headshots and some other stuff to market his classes and his routine. And like, that's what he does full time, and he loves to do it. And he's just such an inspiring person. And I think it's really hard to find those type of people.
That's so cool. Yeah, especially like in fitness, it's such a strange like line to balance and walk. It's like the difference between, you know, reasonable goals and goals that'll actually make you feel good, and goals that are, you know, for your own good and your own health, you know, because obviously nobody wants to be like unhealthy. No one wants to be like overweight in a bad way. But, you know, also trying to find the balance of, well, I love myself how I am, and I don't need to be like, you know, this like guru, like abs for days, you know, flipping tires and shit. Like,
I would love to do that, by the way.
Oh, you know, I probably should. That'd be, you know, be actually awesome. You know, I'm gonna go be a fat person who goes flips tires.
Flip big ass tire one day.
Know, right?
It looks fun to me.
Cool. Like go to those like strongman
Or
competitions.
even when they take the sledgehammer and swing it over the tire. That looks fun to me. It looks
fun, but it looks hard.
It does look hard for sure. Like you're gonna have muscles on top of muscles in your neck.
Like for sure. Yeah, and it's just like, how do you find the balance between like, you know, looking good and feeling good, and also like having realistic expectations without but not like
I think
like underselling yourself. And how do you do that in fitness? It's so weird.
It is weird. I think it's a lifetime challenge. Like it's just a challenge for, I think, everybody, like trying to find a balance between work, health, and mental or physical.
It's hard.
It is hard. Like, I mean, I love my job. I absolutely love the work that I do for the Red Wings and for 313 Presents in Olympia. And that's like my 9 to 5. And, you know, marketing sports and entertainment is great. And I get to build the website for the Red Wings and for 313, and my team helps me with that. And that's incredible. That's like, you know, it's a corporate side. But then being a freelancer as well, you know, other stuff that I'm passionate about, and health and fitness, and also music too. But I don't even know how. I don't think anybody truly has the answer to the balance. You just have to figure it out yourself.
I went to a conference and they said that there's no such thing as balance, because like day to day,
pretty much,
you know, day to day everything changes. So like one day you're thinking like, okay, well, I could cook dinner as soon as I get off work, and then once I finish cooking, I'm gonna go work out, and then after that I'm gonna go to bed early.
Right.
And tonight I'm gonna go eat some McDonald's and a shake on my couch and weep into a McBurger or into a McChicken and cry myself to sleep with my dog. Like,
you have those days to where it's not gonna be balanced, because things change every day, like every second. Like somebody could call you like, hey, Stephanie, could you do some work for me? Like, damn, like I thought I was about to go to the gym. Well, let me heat up some rice.
Or damn, I was about to pour myself a glass of wine.
Right.
Oh yeah,
you know?
a glass of wine.
I got this big old bottle.
I got this big bottle I'm about to just start going down on.
Look,
like,
that's what I'm about to do, because as soon as I leave here, I'm going to
Friday.
What? I'm about to have fun, okay?
I know.
So
even though out in podcast land it's actually Wednesday, but like,
Oh
it's
shoot.
on this end of the universe.
Look,
on this
we're
end of the universe, it's Friday, so we about to y'all heading into work, because you know these drop like way early in the morning, so everyone's heading into work, getting their podcast fix on, and we're ready to go party on this end of the universe. So
don't let us encourage
end of the
you with
time
wine.
the time space continuum. So
don't let us encourage you with wine. Do not start your day with wine.
Maybe you
Please
should,
go to
though.
work.
Yeah, what did you do?
why not? Maybe you should.
Oh my gosh.
This is why they invented
You're gonna go to work and people are like, she's in a really good mood. Like,
this is why they invented kombucha, because kombucha is like the nice like alcoholic thing you can have that no one cares like that you are drinking.
Yeah, it's super like
kombucha.
low potent, but like
I mean, I still think kombucha still smells and tastes a little bit like feet, but like
like
it's
vinegar.
not a good smell.
it's feet. It's definitely feet.
So what is
Infused
what is
with
your
feet.
favorite part about your job at the Red Wings and 313 Presents and Olympia Entertainment?
My favorite part about the job, I guess it is the fact that my client, if you will, is two things that I'm extremely passionate about, which is sports and music. I mean, you know, I'm a web designer and a photographer and many other hats that I wear, but I could be doing this for a I don't know, like a tire company or something.
Right.
And actually, I did have somebody like approach me, like they own like this big, or no, it was like an oil company. And
Ooh.
I don't even, something big that they could offer me a lot of money for this job with my experience and skill. And I was like, you know what? You couldn't even pay me enough to want to have to market.
That's
Right.
passion.
Something that's like not something that you like at all.
Right.
Right. That's I would love to know more about that too from you. Just like sort of the idea of like
Yeah.
in for listeners that are interested in marketing and who do marketing or would like to get into marketing, how do you choose your projects? Why do you choose the projects you do, and why is it important that it's not just every project you can get you do? Why is that something important to you?
I think in the beginning stages of somebody that's like getting into marketing or whatever, or that type of career, you do kind of have to take on projects that aren't, desired. Like, well, I got to take this on because I got to make some money to pay the bills.
Right.
Like, but then once you just kind of, refine your craft and be able to choose, and have the resources to be able to choose who that client is, it's just always about what makes you happy and what you're passionate about.
Right.
But you have to do you do have to do the legwork in the beginning, that you're going to do a lot of jobs that you really don't want to have to do. But it's whether you just have to do it because there's people that you need to or want to get affiliated with, or want to learn more about this certain type of thing, or or just get some money in the bank. Like, you have to do those things. And a lot of the times it's work that you do for free. Like, I did a lot of free work for many years. Specifically working in the music promotions world, like after design school.
Yeah.
But I was super passionate about it, and that's what built my portfolio.
How does I always wonder, like, even in my own life, I mean, I'm still pretty young. I'm almost 25. So like, after college, you kind of do a lot of free stuff, and then all of a sudden you get to this point now where people are like, what do you mean you're doing it for free? Why are you doing that for free? You're worth so much more than that. And when for you, when did you, or like, when should a person sort of stop doing things for free and kind of doing more their worth? And how it's such a weird, like,
it's a great question, though, because
bog to trod through.
It's something that I wanted the answer for a long time. It's like, when am I just gonna get the break? And everybody talks about that, like, you'll get your break one day, it'll come, like, good things are happening, and you just, when the right time is, like, it'll happen. But I think if you just don't even focus on that at all, and you just focus on doing what you're good at, and doing things that not only make you happy, but that help other people. If you help other people try to be their best self, then that's when you grow and become even a better version of your own self. Like, it's
it all
huge.
comes back.
That's a great point. I mean, I guess, like, it's not like the Red Wings is going to go hire someone who's like 20 years old, 22 years old, just got out of college. They don't have anything, work for free. Like, they're not going to do that. Red Wings isn't going to, if the Red Wings, they obviously have money to give.
Right.
And, but I guess if you're like, 22 years old and you say, well, I am really good at designing websites. And there's another 22-year-old out there who doesn't have money to buy, world's best, the Red Wings marketing team. I guess, I see you were 22 when you're starting your business. Well, I'm, 22 and I'm designing websites. Let's get together and figure this out. And now you guys are both stepping up a little bit more together. I guess that kind of makes sense. Like,
it
that.
does.
Yeah.
And I truly, I've always had like a positive mindset about like things happen for a reason and this, that, and the other. And I always believed in that, but I never until I got to a point in my freelance career where I didn't want to hustle anymore, and I wanted to have like a steady paycheck and get insurance. And I just
ever coveted insurance in the arts,
right? Right. It is
someday,
tough.
Everyone will find it somehow.
Yeah. But I was just looking on Indeed.com just randomly one day but I was still making it on my own as a freelancer and paying all of my bills and having a roof over my head and a car to drive. But I just one day decided to look, and I read the job description for the Red Wings web production manager, and I was like, I do all of this right now.
Right. Oh, wow.
Let me apply for it. That would be cool. I grew up in the ice rink.
Hell
Right.
yeah.
You know, and my main client that was actually the one paying my bills because the work that I did for him was a hockey trainer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So, you know, like I said earlier, I threw my resume in there, and it was so bizarre because when I got a call or an email, I don't remember, it was a call or an email that said, "Oh, we'd like to phone screen you. We'd like to have a phone interview. When are you available?" Blah blah blah. And I did the phone interview, and then a week or so later, I saw a phone. I was actually at Warp Tour. I was at Warp Tour when I had it at where the Palace is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and my buddy's band broke one battle of the band, so they got to do like the local stage.
No kidding. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I saw this phone call, and I missed the phone. I got a voicemail, and it was from the Red Wings, and it said, "Hi, this is Kara Newby or whatever. She doesn't work there anymore. We'd like to call you in for an in-person interview," and blah blah blah. I hung up the phone, and my buddy Anthony that was standing next
Hopefully
to me.
after saying goddbye. I don't know.
Well, no, it was a voicemail. I listened.
I was
to
supposed
a
to be
voicemail.
like, you just hang up on her.
I
Just
missed.
like-
I missed the phone call because I was at Warp Tour and it was loud. But I saw that I got a voicemail, so I listened to the voicemail. After I listened to the voicemail, I hung up the phone and I looked over at Anthony and I said, "I'm gonna work for the Red Wings."
Yeah.
It was ladies, it was the most bizarre feeling to this world that I already knew that I had the job and I hadn't even had an in-person interview. Like I just had the mentality, I'm going to work for the Red Wings.
Right. You're like, this
Oh,
is
so
mine
cool.
for
This
the
is
taking.
mine.
It's yours. This is like the matchmaker here.
It is. And it's like, and I going into it, I was just myself the whole time, but I had just such a feeling like this was my break, if you will. Like, this is supposed to happen. Like, this is what was in the stars for me. And I got a dream job that I did not really even knew that I had a dream job. I never was like, I want to work for the Red Wings one day. It just like an opportunity, like it just happened to be that one day. And then I went through a 2-month interview process.
Oh,
and
wow.
2 months. Holy wow.
What? Scott?
Well, like you go for the one person, the first interview, and then you have to wait a week, and then you go to the next interview, and then you have to wait, and then somebody's out of town before they can review. Or it just
That's a lot.
It's just a long time because then there's paperwork and then you have to like file all this stuff. So, you know, but that's what I truly feel like. There is something out there for each and every person that things happen in the way that they're supposed to happen, and every you know, project or anything that I had been involved in that ended horribly or was really hard, or you know, that was just bad. It was supposed to happen because you learn from those things, you know, and you grow. And
happy accidents.
Yeah, happy accidents.
Everything, as Bob Ross says, amongst all of the, you know, happy trees and happy clouds, there's happy accidents. I mean, I would say I'm almost like the opposite thinker of that. Like, everything happens for a reason, and I'm like, nothing happens for any reason at all.
Yeah.
It just happens.
Yeah,
And like,
I like that though.
It's just kind of like shit happens, and sometimes that shit's good, and sometimes that shit's bad, but it'll get you somewhere.
Yeah.
There's no, unless you're not doing literally anything at all, and you're just sitting there and you're not trying.
Yeah.
You're not going to go anywhere. But if you're trying and you're falling apart, or, you know, you're going forward, you know, 2 steps forward, 1 step back or whatever, you know, you're just kind of chugging along. And I'm just like, you know, chips fall where they may. Everything is so weird and random. There's like, I've like nothing. I have like the one thing I think I've pulled out of my life and my career. Everything is so random. There's like literally Stephanie and I met in like a fucking fitness class.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like everyone's like weird relations, just kind of like, where did that come from? Where did that start? It's like, oh, I met this person like at this thing like 10 years ago. And then I didn't know this. Mutual friends. And it's like so weird.
I truly feel like, I mean, not to get all woo-woo and everything on everybody, but I truly feel like your energies align with certain types of people.
Oh,
like,
absolutely, yeah.
There's a certain
vibe. Yeah, get all woo-woo, go woo-woo.
Yeah, like, I mean,
Please.
some people are on a lower vibration than others.
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
like, I think that there are certain types of people that connect in ways, and whether it be that we met a year ago and now here I am sitting in your studio doing a podcast, like, and we haven't really talked much since then, but I've seen your inspiring posts and intelligent, not political, but you know what I mean, like stuff to talk about that has matter or something that matters.
Something matters, yeah.
Yeah, and not like
And
what
lots
you
of
ate
moth
for
memes.
breakfast. Like,
I mean, there's a lot of moth memes in there too.
I feel like
yeah.
when you're intentional, like especially like when you kind of have ideas. So say for example, when you first started doing web design, and you're like, dang, like who could I reach out to? Who could I meet? And I'm sure because this happens to everybody. Like randomly, once you go seeking something, you randomly meet people who want to help you or they'll point you in the right direction. And then the only thing you're left to do is like, where the hell did they come from? Because I was literally just thinking about that type of person.
It happens.
It's so crazy. Like that's why I feel like things don't. Like I feel like things like the lessons that I absolutely needed came at the right time and out of things that I thought where I was like, oh, like it really felt like the floor dropped from under my feet. And I'm just like, And
everything comes full circle.
Yeah, and then
it's
once
so weird
I
how that
landed,
happens.
and once I landed, I'm like, damn, I was tripping for no reason. Like I needed that fall to come up. And it's just like, I don't know, I appreciate things like that. And it's like, as you get older, like you realize everything is in a crisis. Like you're just like
all the time.
You're like, okay,
it's everything is an obstacle.
It is.
Oh,
That's the way that I like to look at things all the time, every single day. Like shit that gets in your way, it's an obstacle. I don't know if I can say shit.
Yeah,
oh, you can say whatever you want.
You can say shit. You can say whatever you like.
Okay, but no, I mean like that's like one mantra of mine that I've lived for many years is like. These are just obstacles, and you just gotta find ways to avoid them.
You're just a sim in the life of someone building walls around your pool to kill you. You
that's
gotta
a
figure out
whole
how to climb out of them.
podcast.
No, seriously.
What, you on The Sims?
Well, no, I used to be, but just the whole simulation of like we are. Yeah,
We're in a Sims game.
I used to love The Sims.
Yeah.
Like I used to get lost in that game. It wasn't even
I
funny.
just need whoever's playing me to like what is it, like hashtag Rosebud or whatever it is, like when they
I
gotta
haven't played it in so long.
like the money cheat when like you'd go to the little cheat, like, you know, hit like, you know, your certain button command.
Yeah.
What, there's command? I played this shit on an Acer PC back in like 2000 or 1999.
Yeah.
There were no cheat codes. There's cheat codes.
There's cheat codes.
Yeah.
You go in. I mean, I used to play it on like PlayStation. But you can like, you know, certain button combination will open up like a special text box that's for cheats. Yeah. And if you like type in like Rosebud, it gives you money because, you know, like
hella money.
What is it? Like Citizen Kane, Rosebud, become a millionaire.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I used to play on a computer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I used to play on a computer, but this was like, what year is this? 2018. This had to be like 2012, 13, and I remember like my cousin, she had it on her laptop, so every time I would go over it, I'm like, I'm gonna play The Sims.
Yeah.
And I would look up and I'm like, it's 12 o'clock at night. I'm going home.
Yeah, well, it's crazy to think about like how we were then like playing these games, and now these kids these days are like glued to their devices.
Oh, so was
and
I.
It's scary. Yeah, but how were you like? Or maybe it was just me, like, growing up when I was playing The Sims on our Acer 1999 computer screen, like, big old box.
The computer with the booty on the back.
Yeah, the booty. My dad would kick us off. Like, you have 2 hours. You can be on that for 2 hours.
Oh, yeah, we get kicked off.
And you're kicked off.
Oh, yeah.
That's
but
how I was.
Because it's the only computer in the whole house, and now Dad wants to use
it.
it.
Dial up. Oh, my God. Yeah. And like, and then
I never had dial up. I was
cue in dial up sound effect.
Oh my gosh! Like I remember my mom would be like,
"Get off the phone."
Yeah. Like, oh my gosh!
I feel like I lucked out so much as a kid because my dad is a graphic designer and uses the internet all the time.
Oh geez.
And
so you had the high speed.
We had we were like one of the first people like in town that had like the high speed.
Ooh,
like I never had the problem of like get off the phone, and all my friends still did. And I was like, what do you mean you have to get off the phone?
It's just crazy because kids nowadays like. I think it's so weird because little kids now, they watch YouTube videos of other little kids playing with toys. And I'm just like, that is so weird.
Instead of playing with toys themselves, they watch other kids playing with toys.
Opening up toys and
it's a
playing
little boy.
Video games. Oh my God.
He makes millions of dollars. Weird. Like his family makes millions of dollars a year. Of him just literally opening toys and playing with them, and that's it.
Oh, that's so weird. That makes me think of like, you know, the child stars of yore.
I don't know what that is.
Oh my God. I mean, like of days past. Like.
Oh, I thought you were like, wait, is that like a show? YouTube
show? Children of yore. No, like of like back in the day with like stage parents and like, you know, Shirley Temple and all those guys and like Dickie Moore and all those little kids that were like pretending to be grown ups when they were like in the 30s and stuff. Like I think I was reading this article this morning about like Natalie Wood. And when she was like in like Miracle on like 34th Street or whatever, her mother like got her to cry. Oh no, she was in this, like, she was auditioning for this movie about like a little kid in like Auschwitz or something. And in the audition, they wanted her to like cry on command and see if she could cry on cue. Her mother took her backstage and had a butterfly in a box and took the butterfly out and ripped the wings off the butterfly to make her cry for this audition. And poor little Natalie Wood is crying like her face. And I'm just like, man. And for some reason, this is like, I feel like what YouTube is like doing now. Like YouTube is
I'm grown as hell, and I just wanted to cry imagining seeing a butterfly.
That is like some major traumatic shit. That went through a kid.
Oh yeah.
But that's to think about them doing that back that many years ago, and to think about where society is now with this on demand, like performing for YouTube. It's crazy.
It's so weird.
Crazy.
You wonder. You have to wonder like what parents are kind of doing behind the scenes of all that stuff. Like.
They're doing whatever they can to make money, and that's the crazy thing. Like, and even going back to like when I was saying, like, you couldn't pay me enough to go work for this other company, even though I would probably double my salary. But it's like, dude, so this the value that people put on money these days is just. Is
it worth selling your soul sometimes?
Dude, people do. Yeah. They do. But I mean, it's so important to focus on what makes you happy, but I don't even think people even know what pure happiness is anymore.
That's the thing. I think people create their happiness or get ideas of their happiness off of other people's standards. So like, say for example, somebody could be like, like some people could be like, okay, like it's not a lot of people, it's not some people's desire to be wealthy. Like some people are like, this is I just want to be comfortable enough to pay my bills and do the things that I like, and that's it. But a lot of people like, like say for example, even with like entrepreneurs and freelancers, like you'll see people who are, you know, like, I'm taking this on full time, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but they think that that's going to equate happiness, and they don't know that it's going to require much more work than you having a job. So it's just like, I think that a lot of people just kind of create their standards based off of what everybody else thinks should make them happy.
I have one more question for Stephanie. What makes you happy?
What makes me happy?
What gets you through? That's not your job, or something else. Like what makes you feel good?
In this past like year and a half, it's really been exercising and dance and Zumba. Like it's seriously been such a life-changing experience that has made me feel so much better and made me feel like a happiness that I never felt before. When you're staying active and doing healthy things for your body and your mind, it changes your entire life. And I mean, I've always been a happy person. Like I love going to concerts and being with my friends, but I also love being active. And I think that's important for everybody to understand that in order to be happy, you have to take care of yourself. It's a lot of self-care. You know, and a lot of connecting with other people, but connecting with people face to face and not being stuck on your phone, staying away. That's what makes me happy, is staying away from television. And I mean, I got a big stupid TV in my house, but I really watch like YouTube music videos on it and Spotify and some like Netflix, like Breaking Bad and Shameless that I've watched a million times.
Shameless is so good.
It's so good. But I mean, I think just bottom line, the most important thing when it comes to happiness is having a healthy body and a healthy mind. But it takes practice. It takes so much practice, and you know. And helping other people. I think that's what makes me happy the most, is helping other people be the best self that they can be. But if I'm not my best self, then I can't.
You can't help other people.
I can't help them.
You can't pour from an empty cup.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's so important that I like especially nowadays with everybody on their phones and connected to so much information all the time. Everybody forgets to just go step outside every once in a while and walk through the grass. It's cold out now.
Walk through the snow.
You know what I mean? But just to take time to quiet your mind.
Yeah.
and just like get rid of all of the chatter. And it takes a lot of practice, but it's so very important to take care of your mind and just get away from everything and be alone in your own thoughts and no thoughts at all.
Yeah.
And that's huge. That's
For sure.
benefit.
Yeah, everybody out there in podcast land, take a second,
Just take a minute. Just
take
1 minute.
Yeah.
Just be present, and you are light and you are love.
Yeah. Everybody, I assume a lot of people watch this as it's like a good commuting sort of podcast. So everyone's sitting out their car, stuck up in the little orange cones.
Yeah.
Up on
welcome to Michigan.
I know, yeah. Welcome. We grow.
Yeah. You could even there is
cones.
some sort of driving meditation that you could do too.
Yeah.
Like anything that's just
absolutely.
Focusing on some certain type of thing that'll bring your energy up, and
absolutely, yeah.
It's super important.
Before zooming on to some music or another podcast, when everyone's done out there with this one, shut your damn phone off for a second and listen to your own brain. It's scary, I know.
Yeah. Well, tell your brain to be quiet. That is one of the most important things.
Yeah, tell your brain to be quiet and stop being mean.
Yeah, just
chill out.
Or just give yourself some positive mantras.
Indeed.
And influence good happy things to. It's so like hippie and like rose-colored glasses type of thing.
But it's true.
You need it.
It's true.
You do.
Like
you really do.
one thing that helped me is like not more so like quieting my mind, but letting my thoughts just like kind of coast without giving it too much thought. Like just
let them
let them coast. Yeah, because like sometimes
coasting.
like you'll like with quieting your mind. I know a lot of people like, well, how do I like when you're just sitting there, you're just like shut up thoughts, and it's like your thoughts literally don't shut up because you're just like.
You're focusing on the thought.
I'm hungry. Yeah, it's like I'm hungry. What am I gonna eat? I got some tuna in the refrigerator.
And then it turns and then all of a sudden you're like, well, my boyfriend back in 2002 did this to me.
And you're in a rabbit hole, and you're just like you think about it. And you're just sitting there with your eyes closed, and you're like, damn, I didn't even quiet my mind. My mind was louder than it was before I even start doing this.
It takes so much practice.
It does, really.
And that's like anything, like in any type of career. Like I practiced and did so much, work to get where I was. Like I built a big giant portfolio because I worked hard, because I practiced, and now it's just trying to find the balance of practicing, disciplining my mind to be healthy mentally and physically. And that's when you can do your best work, whether you're a photographer, a graphic designer, a pianist. Well, I don't even know how much of a good example that is. That's a fantastic career, but it just takes practice and just self-care.
Right.
Yay.
So, Stephanie, where can we find you?
I am here. I am right here. No.
Oh, yeah. Like she's here.
Yeah.
I'm like sitting here. Like I got my hands in a palm.
She's ready. She's already floating up above. She's in the sky floating.
I'm right here.
I was like, I like that answer. That's the answer we haven't gotten yet. Like I'm present. Okay, that's enough.
Yeah.
But no, we didn't talk much about the freelance stuff that I do, but I do a lot of freelance photography. StephRekPhotography.com. And I also have a media site, StephRekMedia.com. I haven't updated that one in like a couple months, but it's still there. But like Steph Rek on Instagram, it's basically my first name and the last three of my first three letters.
We'll link it in the show notes.
That's where it came from.
Yeah.
Steph Rek. My last name's Rekowski, so. That's me on the interwebs, and I try to like post a lot of my photography that I do. So
cool.
Okay.
And DetroitRedWings.com. The Wings aren't the greatest this year.
Oh, they're always the greatest in my heart, at least.
They're the home team.
They're the home team.
They're the home
She's repping.
team.
She's got like red hair on. She's got a red vest on. She's got the white fuzzies on her vest too.
I almost came here straight from the office in my my Red Wings Under Armour because it's casual Friday, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna put on my red flannel because
it works.
It's the fall.
Hell yeah!
Yeah,
it works. It works. All right. Thank you so much for joining us today, Stephanie. You're a treat.
Oh, you guys are too. Seriously, I've been wanting to do podcast stuff for a really long time, and you guys have extremely inspired me.
Yay! We hope that all of the
Yes.
delightful episodes inspire
Yeah, I can't
everybody
wait to
out there
hear-
to start podcasting
Yeah.
and all that stuff.
I'm
And
super excited to hear what you guys got coming up next. And the She Do. I hope the She Do is like a thing that you guys do more because I can send you some people.
oh hell
we
yeah,
love people.
we are collectors of women and cool
People.
people.
Sweet, let's do a 3-person high five.
Hell yeah, we're
in the
gonna high
middle of
five
the
right
mics.
here.
Oh,
Yeah.
yay.
All right. Once
Very
again, this is She Do. I am Natalie Berger coming at you live. Not live, actually, really much far in the past. Anyway, recorded. Coming at you recorded out of your listening device.
And I am Bria Renee, and we will hear from you guys, or you guys will hear from us in 2 weeks. Thank you for tuning into the She Do podcast.
Bye.
Bye-bye. That was a One E original podcast.